What we have here is a Medialon Manager project demonstrating a sequential show where each scene has a timeline and the determination of when you can play the next scene is kind of stretchy time depending on what's going on in each scene. Sometimes scenes take longer to evacuate into the next room, or maybe there's a technical issue, or something else is preventing scene three from being ready when scene two finishes. So we have to introduce some stretchy time in there. What I've done to demonstrate that is I put a minimum uh, wait time for the load of one room into the other. And you'll see that the load time from scene two to scene three is 5 seconds, and the load time from scene one to scene two is 3 seconds. So the first thing that we need to do is just look at what a scene does. So I've just set up a 15-second scene here just because I don't want to stretch this out forever when we're doing the demo, and it illustrates the purpose. So each scene has a preset. So we have a preset that does a few things, and then a scene itself, which is a timeline. So the preset is a step-based task that it basically updates the text display saying that it's presetting. It waits a period of time. It does some stuff in here. I don't actually have it doing anything for the demo, but and then when it's finished doing whatever it needs to preset, then it sets the display to ready. So that's essentially setting the status of the room to ready. The run can only happen if the scene is ready. So when we run the preset, it says it's presetting, and then it says it's ready, and then we can run. The task runs through. So if we watch that task run through, and then here we go. We're coming up on a start task scene 3 preset. So it just goes back and basically clicks that preset button once the show is over. So it gets the scene ready again. So scene 3 is a little different than scenes 1 and 2 because at the end of this, there's no scene 4 here. So the show's over at that point. So what happens in scene 2? Because now we have a dependency on scene 3 being ready before we can move on, and we can't preset the room while there's people in there. So we have to wait until they've moved into scene 3 and that show's running before we preset scene 2. So if we look at the preset of scene 2, we're going to say that we are presetting, and we're going to light up an indicator basically saying when this is going, when scene 2 is going into scene 3. And then once that has expired, we say that scene 2 is ready. So the way that works, we'll preset that. It runs through. Now we run that. Now at the end of scene 2, we're going to call a task that's waiting for scene 3. So wait for scene 3. So we're waiting for scene 3 to become ready, and then we wait for that timeout period. Scene 3 begins running, scene 2 resets, and then it's ready to run again. So we do exactly the same thing for scene 1. So we preset scene 1, and we can run that. And when scene 1 completes, it's going to wait for scene 2. And let me just run scene 2 here. So out of sequence. So now we're going to wait for scene 2. Well, scene 1 can't continue on because scene 2, there's still people in there. So scene 2 is going to finish here, and it's going to wait for scene 3 for 5 seconds. It's evacuating into scene 3. Scene 2 is presetting, scene 2 is ready. Scene 1 then loads into scene 2. Once scene 2 begins running, then scene 1 can preset, and then it's ready to run again. So if we watch this again, scene 3 presets, scene 3 is ready, scene 2 finishes, it evacuates into scene 3, scene 2 presets, scene 1 is evacuating into scene 2 because it's ready, scene 2 runs, scene 1 presets, we're ready to load in again and run that show. So the way that that works is we have the timelines for each of the scenes. And at the end of scene 1, we're going to start the task for scene 2, to wait for scene 2. So if you look at that wait for scene 2, we're basically just updating the text display saying we're waiting for scene 2, and then we wait for scene 2's text to be ready. So we're waiting for this to be ready. That's not going to be ready until the preset is complete. So the preset can't complete until the following scene is running. So once that is ready, then we light up the LED here that shows that we're moving from scene 1 into scene 2, and then we wait for that minimum load time, and then we go ahead and start scene 2, and then we execute the scene 1 preset, which basically turns off that it turns off that that LED that shows the indicator. And we say that we're presetting scene 1, do our things, and then we say scene 1 is ready. So that's basically how that works. And you just repeat that same couple of tasks, the preset task and the wait for task, for as many scenes as you have. So you've got a timeline for each scene, you have a preset for each scene, and you have a wait for. So the wait for basically is waiting for the next scene to be ready. Once it's ready, then it executes the preset for the scene that is evacuating. And then once the end of the preset is done, it declares that room is ready, which makes it eligible to be loaded in from the scene before. So, and that cascades down the line. So if I actually if I run these out of sequence, because typically the end scenes will run before the scene before it. So I ran that 1, 2, 3 instead of 3, 2, 1. What we're going to end up with is we have to wait in scene 1 has to wait for scene 2. Oh well, I did a little too tight there. Here, we'll just run these out of sequence a little bit. All right, so scene 2 is now waiting for scene 3. Scene 3 completes. It presets. Scene 2 then loads into scene 3. Scene 2 is now ready. Scene 1 loads into scene 2 and runs, and now scene 1 is ready. And so that's just going to keep cascading down. Scene 3 finishes, scene 3 is ready, scene 2 finishes, loads into scene 3, scene 3 runs, scene 2 presets, scene 2 is ready, scene 1 loads into scene 2 runs, scene 1 presets, scene 1 is ready.